whakarongo ki te tangi a te korimako. Kōrero flowing out the hook of force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira whakarongo pi kari mai. Hare mai, o Taringa hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
E re nei te reo o Taringa i ngā iarangi o te ipurangi kia kouta e noho mai nei, e noho mai nā, e noho atu nei, e noho mai nei. Me e rā noho katoa.
Nei nā.
I think he tai hoia no tēnā koe te katoa. Kei kōranga tira, nau mai hoki mai ane ki te punua pāha o Taringa. Ane mātou tokotoru, mātou ko Puaheiri, ko Kahurangi. Coming at you from, well, Māoatahi ko te Puaheiri kei te pokapū o Taringa, and Kahurangi said, Rotoru anui a kahu, te moana o te iwi.
Ti hei Mauri ora.
Ti hei Mauri ora.
From the hen house.
E mihi ake ana, and ngā mi o ki a kōrua, te māngai pāho, kōrua ko irirangi, te motu.
Kia ora.
Tiha.
Yeah, and we're coming at you from bustling metropolis of Te Awamutu.
Te Awamutu.
Māua anyway. And yeah, I wauna hoki Kahurangi, but thank you.
But thank you.
My pleasure.
And e te whānau, you know, I've had a lot of whānau and friends, you know. I know, we're going to talk about Matatini for quite a bit. And as some of you may not know, ko hau te kaiwhiriwhiri matua is the head judge, or kaiwhiriwhiri matua, Tiwhi Tiati. I only did in H's Chief Walla Walla.
Chief Walla Walla, yeah, the big Walla Walla.
And, you know, some of my friends and whānau have shared who they thought sort of whānau sort of got what. And I just say to them, ko koe ki tau, ko hau ki tāku.
Kia ora.
Ne?
Boom.
Ko koe ki tau, ko hau ki tāku. And koera te kīwaha.
Kīwaha.
And that pretty much means you have your opinion.
Yep.
Or your whakaaro. And I have mine.
Yep. Yours to you.
Yeah.
Each to their own. Each to their
Yeah,
own.
each to their own.
Each to their own.
Each to their own.
Ka pai.
And koera, ko koe ki tau, ko hau ki tāku.
Ka pai.
You know, and it's a nice way to kind of, because you could just continue to go, oh, well, I think, and then, oh, well, I think, and it just goes on and on,
Yeah.
the snowball effect, and you can just cut it right there by going, you know what, ko koe ki tau,
Yeah.
ko hau ki tāku, and then it
Yeah.
sort of ends there.
You could even go, oh, ka pai, ko koe ki tau. Like,
Yes, tika.
And I'm reminded too, i a tātou e kōrero ana i te me etahi wā, we get into etahi, Wānanga, e pāna ki nā, could be about whakapapa.
Ai.
Etahi whakapapa, kei etahi iwi, kei etahi
Ai.
hapū, ā rātou kōrero, mō tā rātou i rongo ai. And another hapū, another whānau will have another line, you know, and what they believe is to be right.
That's right.
And they're standing in their truth.
Standing in their truth.
And their
Koera
truth.
te o nā trendy kōrero i te wānei.
Ai.
And i rongo au i tēnei whakatau ki pai ki au, no nā iwi o Whanganui. Ko tō piki amokura nou, ko tōku piki amokura nōku.
O, a tāhua tēnā.
Kia ora. Piki amokura.
Ko tō piki amokura nou, ko tōku piki amokura nōku. And it's different to the ko koe ki tau, ko hau ki tāku, in that this one is acknowledging that you've been taught in a wānanga.
Yeah.
And I respect the sanctity, the tapu and the mana
Ai.
of ngā kōrero i ākona rā e koe. And I've been taught in another wānanga, and this is what I've been taught.
Ai.
And the piki amokura, ko te amokura, ko te humaiko,
Ai.
te remu rānei o te manu. And amokura was quite a long feather.
Ai.
Remember when those were in?
Yeah.
Hey, they still cool
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
No, well, that's
Big
right.
hyphens
Yeah,
there.
they're cool.
Yeah.
So that's an acknowledgement of someone else's wānanga.
Ai.
So yeah, kei taumata anō tērā,
Yeah.
I te, ko koe ki tau, ko hau ki tāku.
He pai e rā tauira e rua, ne? I te mea he kaha tā tātou, I don't know if it's tohe. We see a lot of this online there. We see a lot of keyboard warrior scenarios happening, and then there's almost like you need to defend your kōrero tū rānei ngari ēnei tauira e rua. He whakarangatira i ngā taha e rua kāri te whakaiti.
Koia.
But it's also saying, well, no, actually, this is my truth. That's your truth. We good.
Wā
Ka
nau,
pai.
kia hau nei he kotahitanga i te rerekētanga. Koina te whainga. We can agree, we don't have to agree on everything. it's best to agree to disagree.
Lovely.
Rahui, ko te teo ana, kōrez gai. You know, we acknowledge all kōrero tuku iho, kei tēnā iwi, āna kōrero. Engari, one is slightly more right than the other. And I'm like, oh, tō tēnei. Yeah. Anyway,
Ki tau.
koira te kīwaha e te iwi, ko koe ki tāu, ko hau ki tāku.
Pai.
Beautiful. Patapātai.
E ni runga i tērā, e mihi ake ana i te mea ko tēnei hōtaka episode i tēnei rā.
Ai.
There you go, just answered one of the patapātai. Is patapātai.
Patapātai.
Haven't had one of these in a while, so no mai ki tā tātai Wānanga. Me taku mihi kia koutou i manawa roa mai i te me koetehi o ngā pātai nei heika 2019.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to a
That
couple
one
of
never
those.
got COVID.
Tika, I'm surprised e pātai nei e hea i mahue.
Well, and so, mō etahi kārea no kia tuku pātai, hea te ara ka whaia etahi ki te, tuku pātai. Mā te pukamata, mā te messenger ahara nei.
Actually, you know what, kaurangi he pātai pairawa atu tēnā. And I think because a lot of our koutou ngai taringa, ka tuku mai i a koutou pātai mā te karere pukamata. So many of you send in your questions through the Facebook Messenger. I tēnei wā e whakatāna Erica, and she was the one that kept up to date with those. So
Ai.
Oh,
maybe we need
right.
to wānanga what's a better way we do to get the pātai in. Currently, kahurangi, it's through Facebook Messenger.
Ka pai.
And hence they get missed.
And Brown is not checking his DMs.
Yeah. So we're going to start off with a quick one. Mau tēnei whakautu Snow, and it's in regards to... We'll pick one each, eh? I'm picking yours for you.
Yeah.
E pāna ki te kīwaha, I think nā rutene tēnei,
Ai.
kia tātou.
Rutene gable.
Ko hea koe.
Ko hea koe.
And you might want to give us a bit of... How te kupu pākia? Jog out memories.
Translation?
No, yeah.
Recap?
Yes, recap on, on tērā kīwaha and then answer the pātai.
Yeah, no reira, nā rutene gable tēnei kīwaha I homai ki a tātou. Ia e korero ana mō Ngāti Kahu, o te pātu. And say, hei tā etahi o ngā iwi o te tai tokerau ka whakamahia e rātou tēnei kīwaha mo te pātai. E pātai ana ki tētahi mo tōna o tō rātou haerenga. E haere ana koe kihia, e haere ana koutou kihia. So ko te kīwaha nei, kohia koutou, kohia koe. So this is one way of asking someone where they're going to. And it's quickly as, kohia koe, where are you going? Ne. And the pātai is, how do you answer that? So if someone says, kohia koe, you can say in this sentence, ko te haere. Ko te haere au ki te toa. I'm going to the shop. And this is another use in the northern areas of using...
North of the wall.
North of the wall. Of using, instead of ka.
Yes.
Or what is it, a future tense, ko te.
Yeah.
Yeah, ko te haere. Or you can just say, e haere anau ki te toa. You're pretty much answering the question, e haere ana koe hia, ki hia.
And tēnā koe tō pātai, Jeremy Banks.
Kia ora. You can bank that.
Yep.
Hey.
Hey.
Kei a koe tuahine mau te te e kōwhiri.
Ko oti kei a koe te whakautu I tētahi o ngā pātai. What is the Māori word for episode? You just mentioned it in your kōrero earlier. And the Māori word for episode is hōtaka. Ne?
Hōtaka.
Engari, ko tētahi, sometimes I see terenga being used. So terenga is a word that can be used for series.
Kia ora.
As opposed to an episode, which is a standalone thing. And these are terms that we use in our industry, of the
Kia ora.
media industry.
Yeah.
So hōtaka and terenga, two different kupu.
Pai tērā. Another one I get from Pai Kupu, I think it's .co.nz, is puni.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Ka
Yeah,
pai.
same. I haven't heard that either. I've used it in some of our descriptions just to create a distinction between that and hōtaka, which sometimes is used as
Thank you.
as a program. Hoi no, there are some variations for you e te kai pātai.
Ka pai.
But pai tērā, because for ages we've been going, what's episode?
Puni tērā.
And he kaha,
Te puni tuatahi.
yeah, he rite tonu taku whakamahi I te kupu putanga.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I use putanga.
putanga.
Te putanga tuatahi, tuarua.
Aye.
Yeah.
And I think the first time I read that was in the pikarere, ngā putanga o ngā pikarere.
Oh, I
Yeah, I was like, putanga, yeah. Oh, no.
Kia ora, well, there's a few there you can use. Got puni, hōtaka, and putanga.
beautiful.
Ka pai. Okay, e hoki ana whakamuri ki te tehi pātai o ngā tau e 2019 nā Kirkpain nei te pātai hora mai e, and it is te nā koe Kirkpain. 3 years later, we've gone to your pātai.
Pai.
Is it 3 years or 4 years?
It was pre-COVID anyway.
Yeah, such a blankie.
Anyway, anei tō pātai e tai. Hei whakamārai a koe, and it's a good pātai. We're going to have a Wānanga with this. Kia ora ai ngā matamata huaanga, he pātai tāku. I have a question. Did our tohunga tuku iho always grow their hair long? I read somewhere that our friends of Turtle Island believe that's where the intuition their matakite derived from, and the CIA collaborated this, the idea behind the movie, The Men Who Stare at Goats. Right. I don't know about the CIA and the goats, but angana ka kōrero au mo te makawe.
Kia ora.
Ai.
And te a kōrero tuku iho, I think Tūhoto Ariki was one.
Tūhoto Ariki.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this is after the eruption of Te Hu o Tarawera. And we've talked about Te Hu o Tarawera eruption as being a time marker. And a lot of kōrero tuku iho from our kaumātua. Kuia Koraua. Oh, they were born during or just after. Yeah, Mount Tarawera.
Yeah,
As we talk about COVID now, pre-COVID, post-COVID,
Yeah,
Yes,
so their time marker was Tarawera. Another one that they use is Te Pakanga Nui o Te Ao.
Yes.
So the Great War.
Right.
And you'll know the old people, you'll see they'll say Te Pakanga Nui because at the time they didn't know that was the first one. Later, Te Pakanga Tuarua came. And then, you know what I mean? Te Pakanga Nui o Te Ao was referred to as Te Pakanga Tuatahi.
Aye, the first one, aye.
Hoi anō, and I heard a kōrero, I remember, maybe I read it, that when Tūhoto Ariki was found in his whare, he was taken to Rotorua Hospital. I think part of the kōrero, and koutou e mōhio ana koutou Ngāti Tarawhai o tira tūhaurangi, e moana ki tēnei kōrero, whakatika mai, me he ana. But I recall that he was washed in hot water, and I think his hair was cut.
Oh, yeah.
And
so i kitea e mate ana?
Yeah.
Ko mate i?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
No, he was i te kare mate.
Ai,
So i te ora ia.
Ai.
Ka haria ki te hōhipera. And then he was washed, and then his hair was cut, and e ai ki aia nā ko nā i heke ai tōna mana. And when I'm talking about mana, I'm talking about his strength.
Ai.
And kāre ro e muri mai ka mate. So there was, he nui ngā whakaaro ki te makawe, te Māori, and we had a whakahaere or ceremony with our tamariki and our huanga from, I know, ki Airani, have their hair cutting ceremony. Ka whira ki a Hāmoa. And that was also a part of our tikanga. That the first cutting of a child, that was like a rite of passage when he got to a certain length, and it would be cut. Mo te taha ki te mata ki te tanga, though, me rāhuatanga, karaiti no mōhio ana. But there were rangatira that were renowned for their hairstyles. And ko tētai no te taitokerau.
Tētai kua he tohunga kai whiriwhiri makawe e.
Yeah, he knew, and I remember being taught how to properly put a heru in as well, without a hair tie. So there's actually a way that our tupuna used the heru to bind their hair and make tiki-tiki. And, you know, it sort of opens up again, and we've had this discussion, e tahi wā, i Taringa there. There's so many other things, hei whakaoho mā tātou i te ao Māori. Hairdos is one. There you go, kaurangi. Nā here, te makawe, e rāhuatanga, te heru, how we wore our taonga, our whakarākai, and how the hair was prepared with oils and things like that, and adornments was all part of it. So, tikanga nui.
I think the closest, but you know what, we've seen a lot of it now in Te Matatini. I've seen a lot of the kaihaka using quite elaborate, well, our male ones anyway, which hasn't been seen a lot, quite elaborate tyings of the hair and some of the adornments. But I think one thing I think of quickly is in Te Ahure Hapanihi, Te Hunga, the sumo wrestlers, they use knots in their hair to show their rank.
Right.
And that reminds me of something that I think our tupuna would have done as well. Because, you know, e wāhi tapu, te pane, ngā makawe. So,
Tiki-tiki, it was a big thing. And iau e pakeke mai ana I kaha kitea tērā I konei, te hunga pēnei Papa Wetini mā, you know, they've always kind of had their beautiful hair. And And now you kind of see a lot of our younger generation of men still doing that, which I think it's really beautiful. Me hoki mai tērā āhuatanga. I don't really see many people just wearing heru for the sake of wearing heru these days. Ka waiho mo te atamira mo etahi kaupapa mo tuhake. But I remember getting my first one from my mum, and actually learning how to put it in your hand, then put it with your raukura and other things like that. It's a whole process. It's beautiful. And me hoki mai e rātu āhuatanga. E mihi anau ki ngā tāne who, don't succumb to societal pressures where they perhaps get judged for, some, e te pēr ki te wahine, kareha tērā.
Even professional pressures to have a certain...
Well, yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning to, is having to conform to perhaps whatever industry or profession you're in. And even at kura, I actually remember some of our boys in our class would often have to cut their hair, but they were like, no, I've got to keep my hair long because I do concerts, or that's my my mahi, that's my era tu āhuatanga katoa. But there's a lot of, used to be, I don't know mehe mea pērā tonu ana, but I reira tērā tu āhuatanga where you weren't allowed or you were pressured to not have long hair as a tāne.
This memory come to me to this, one of my friends is in UANE and we're at intermediate, and his hair was always plaited right down to the tip. He never used a hair tie. And one day it come undone and he went running away crying, and one of the teachers went to go and do his hair and he said, you can't touch my hair. And his oldest cousin, I remember she was an older student, she had to do his hair. And it wasn't later until one of the other cousins goes, oh, no one's allowed to touch his hair. And only she can, because she was his father's older brother's daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just reminded of that. But we just think, what the fuss? What's the big fuss?
Yes. Well, I remember reading a lot of iwi take tātou no te moana nui ākiwa. I remember reading about a boy who was almost expelled because he wouldn't cut his hair.
Yeah.
It's about educating. And actually just standing up to that, because that's not e takahi mana tērā. This is a good wānanga. It's a good pātai.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about before in Taringa how I used to have long hair.
Aye.
And then it
Yes.
turned into a dread. And then e mate te taku karanga whaia, taku māma tūrua, te taino taku māma. I cut my dread. And it was sort of like a rite of passage for me too. A waho nei I panonitia.
Aye.
Yeah.
Tu āhua mai tērā wā.
Yes.
And then whenever I needed a haircut, ngā hui would cut my hair.
Aye. Yeah.
She cut my hair for years. Ever since that time, she was the one that actually cut my dread off.
Yeah.
And only recently have I been right in being comfortable with going to the barber.
To the barber, aye.
But I have my little karakia.
Aye. Yeah.
Nee.
And then I go in and I sprinkle my wai after what hair I do have.
Aye, aye.
Bit of a clean up.
Bit of a clean up, yeah. Yeah.
Engari koira aku tikanga. Ki oku makawe.
When we talk about this in depth in terms of makawe e te iwi, in Tikanga 101, episode 107.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ko wai te kai kōrero o ko koutou
Māotahi,
i Wānanga.
yeah.
Pai.
Yeah. But
Yes.
e kei reira hoki e tahi kōrero a te whare huia mo tana whakaritenga, me tana huare.
And some people sort like rite ki a paraone etahi, they like to gather their makawe when they go to the hairdressers, and do certain things like that.
Have their own thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So pai tērā, tēnā koe i tērā. Mr. Bain,
Ai.
Kirk.
Tēnā koe. And just one I te me kei raro tonu mai I tērā ko tēnei, nā te angi hau. And I'm going to read the whole thing out.
Ka pai.
Tēnā koutou te iwi. Taringa, tuatahi, e mihi kawana kia koutou ko ngā kai kōrero, ko ngā kai tautoko katoa, tētahi o oku tino hiehia mo te wanapana taima. Whakatauhia tētahi tangata mōhio no tēnā iwi no tēnā hapu, a era iwi kia whakamaramahia o rātou kōrero o te hekenga mai o ngā waka katoa mai Hawaii ki Aotearoa. Great whakaro. So Te Angihau was saying we should get some Once Upon a Timer together, and we ask, and we have. I roto I ngā tau, and to let you know, Te Angihau, it's a challenge to nail a lot of our guests, and they're all busy people, but we'll take your suggestion on board, and tērā pia ka taka te wā, ka tika te wā, ka tuhi kōrero etahi mō te heka mai o rātou waka. Engari, tēnā koe.
Because of the modesty of some of our well-learned people who know that kōrero. Pai tēnei nā Clarence Waima. Tēnā koe Clarence Waima. Hea ha te kawa i ngā karakia, ka tākina te kawa. Pātai pai tērā. Hea ha te
Tēnā
kawa.
koe paraone. Mai tēnei.
Hea tēnā?
Hea ha te kawa. I roto i ngā karakia, ka tākina te kawa. Hea ha ia
te kawa, ko te kawa nui, ko te kawa roa. Ko te kawa, kōrero tia nei roto i te karakia, ko te whakahaere. Kātahi, kārua, and this is something we've had a wānanga about. Engari, he kawa hoki tō te taiao.
Ai.
Ne? So hea te, ko te tākina, ko te institute, the process, ne, the godly process.
Ai.
Ne, for want of a better word. So it's a spiritual sequence within the karakia. Ne?
Ai.
And that's the process. So, ka taki nā te kawa ko te kawa ki a tangaroa. So it's the process to appease tangaroa.
Oh, kia ora.
Ne? Or to incite.
Insight, yeah.
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 Ne?
Kona oku whakaro, like in saying, I will recite the access to this faculty.
Yeah.
So, ka tākina te kawa ki a tangaroa.
Yeah. You know, for example, one karakia, tētahi karakia whakatāi te kawa, goes, ka taki nā te kawa tuatai tuarua, ko rongo marairoa, ko te kawa tuatoru, ko te kawa tuawha, kei te paipai kai āwha, ko te kawa tuono, ko te kawa tuawhitu, kei ngā maihi, kei ngā amo. So this is the kawa in regards to rongo. The next part is in regards to the front part of the whare, the paipai kai āwha. The next is the process I will follow to with the gables of the house, and with the front pillars of the house. Yeah, so koera te kawa I roto I te karakia, and depending on who the kawa or who the karakia or ruruku is to, then that's what the kawa means. Yeah.
So we know that, but what's it inciting? Are you imbuing something? Are you imbuing the kawa?
Well, you're saying that what you're verbalizing within the karakia is that this is the particular process that I need to follow ne, to incite the mana and tapu and acknowledge the wehi of that particular atua.
Yeah. That presides in that area.
Yes. Yeah.
Kia ora.
Or in regards to that particular mahi that you're about to do or you have that you're doing. Yeah, koera te kawa.
Kia ora.
I roto I te karakia. Now, don't get to smink that kawa is different to te kawa o te marae.
Aye.
Ne, and this is where people say, well, you can't change kawa. Well, he rereke te kawa I ngā karakia I tēnā te kawa o te marae.
Aye.
Now, those are the processes that are followed on a marae. Ne, so he rereke tērā kawa I te kawa I roto I te karakia.
Yeah.
Ne, but to describe, don't forget, kawa is he huinga tikanga, te kawa. So ara e tahi tikanga me tutuki a koe I roto I o karakia, ne, e tika I tō mahi. So I reira he ōritetanga ki te whakamahinga o te kupu kawa o te marae.
Kawa o te marae,
Engari, he rereke te kawa I ngā karakia.
I kōrero koe mo te kawa o te taiao.
Well, the sun comes up.
Koina te kawa o te manu I te rā, ne?
Yeah, the sun comes up, crosses the sky, gets to te tūhoitanga and goes down.
Yep.
Nobody kareta e tātou tērā te panoni.
Yeah. E mena ka ara mai I te uru I tētahi ata koraru tātou.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm saying, but it's something we can rely on, ne? And there's a kawa that we can't change. Nō reira, just to throw a curveball in it, pēhea te kawa o te taiao I nāne, e rongo ana tātou I te kaha o hine para whenua mea. He kawa ko panoni tia ai e tātou te tangata?
Well, this goes back to tētahi o a tātai Wānanga when I mentioned Māori Marston returning from the Second World War and explaining to his kaumātua, they wanted to know what happened with the atom bomb. And I think ko tāna kōrero, I wete kina ngā whatu o te ao.
Ai. Tihaia te kahu o te rangi.
Yeah, that's how he explained they've taken the very fabric of our being apart.
Yeah.
That's how he explained the atom bomb.
And
then they asked, e mohi ana rātou pewhia te whakatika?
Te tuitui anō.
Effect, te tuitui anō. And he said, kao. And they said, ko he tātou.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, and koina te take kaore e rā kōrero tuku ki te ware. That's why the low births aren't given that. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the environment's to us the kawa because we're actually suffering the effects of our... So we haven't changed it. The environment's actually changing the taiao, ngā atua, e o... E koe,
Karitiake.
We are becoming...
Anei tāku. Hei, I'm gonna tahi atu whenua.
Yeah, so it's not an old, it's koine te kaua o te taiao.
Yes.
Koe tonu te kaua o te
Wa
kaua.
koine oku whakaaro.
Ko he rānei te kaua o te tangata.
Yeah. Nōku o
tū.
ku whakaaro.
Ai.
Koe ki
Ai, kei
tāna.
konei hoki oku.
Yeah.
Yeah, ai.
Yeah. Ko tōku piki a mokura nōku. I'm just thinking, koera tēta, I don't think we're purposely not doing it.
Yeah.
No.
Nei, kei,
Yeah.
he kore no tā tātou āta tiaki e pēne mai ana te taiao
Ai.
ki a tātou. Ne.
Kamatu, koera te kaua o te taiao, ko te whakatika.
Yeah.
Aua.
I mean, Queenie Moihau, she shared a beautiful kōrero with me about iaia e tamariki ana, ka puhi mai te, ka tau te āwha ki Waiapu, i mataku ia ngā tamariki te kaha o te āwha, the storm, and e kaumata said, you know, kei te tahi ko wareware au te ingo tō rātou atua tupuna, tīpuna rānei, kei te tahi a mea i te riu.
Ai.
Ko tō tipuna tērā.
Ai, pai tērā.
Yeah, koera tana tirohanga ki te rātu āhuatanga.
Yeah. Aha koa ngā āhuatanga, nā whakararu i a tātou te tangata, ne, e noho ana tātou i te ao o ngā atua, nō rātou tonu te mana.
Ai.
Yeah. There you go, that was your pātai.
Te was your pātai. Te kaua.
Pai tēnā
I
kōrero.
pai tērā.
Pai, yeah.
Okay, so tēnei pātai whakamutunga, kia manawa nui mai i te ahu o taku whakahua i tō ingoa, aroha mai. I think it's Samesi, ne? Pea? Engari, anei tana pātai, kia ora, I have a question. Yes, you do. What is the point of doing a pōwhiri to celebrities at the airport when they arrive, when one, most have already been here before, and two, what about normal people who aren't celebrities? It doesn't make sense to me, but would love to hear your opinions on this.
Pātai pai.
Hey.
Mickey Mouse, rock the house. A Mickey Mouse, rock the house.
I can see where she's coming from.
Yeah.
Or he, she, or they, you know, seeing this unfold and then go, anei pia i tahi pātai ka puta.
Well, pewhi o whakaaro kaurangi, me tupu ake koe i roto i o tāua, but
Yeah.
i te ao tūruhi,
Yeah.
and, you know, he ori te tanga kei reira.
Ai. Dāla Māori.
Yeah.
Dāla pōwhiri i etahi wā. And i tikatau, i tipu au i te rātu āhuatanga, put your pipiu on, wherever it may be, airport, whatever. And ka pakeke ana hau ka timatau ki te ata kāri tino noho, tau i roto i ahau te rātu āhuatanga, kāri tino Māori ki au. It was just seemed like the thing that we would do to appease Pākehā. And so I haven't done those in a while. But i au ka kite i etahi o nei pōwhiri, for a lot of them, he rangatira, so I get that we are acknowledging this person or tēnei tira, and we do it in the right way. But sometimes I think, hey, there's a marae that was actually built for some of these very reasons, like down the road from the airport, if we're talking Auckland International Airport here. Go to the marae and do it. Hea tātou ka mate ki te mahi ki te airport tonu. Like, koera tētahi pātai ka puta i au. Is it just for, e noho puehu pia ana tērā marae whakaaro? What about you, Mr. Praone?
He nui aku whakaaro.
I know.
Same, you know, like e te o nā pōwhiri e ki te anau, they're happening at all hours of the morning.
Whenever the plane lands.
Yep. And I just think that would never happen on our, and kei te kōrau mo te kei o te wako o Tainui.
Ai.
We wouldn't do that on our marae. We wouldn't
Yep.
be having a wero and a karanga at 2 or 3 in the morning, so I question that. I roto i te whare, pātai anō kei reira. And I do get that e pirangi ana ki a rongo rātou i te ao Māori.
Yes, we understand all of that.
Engari, at what cost?
At what cost? Ai.
Ka kitea e te, and you set a precedent.
Ai.
And I've raised this with my whanaunga. I think hea te utu.
Ai.
Ki a tātou tikanga. And it's coming back to what we've said, you know, having these wānanga about tikanga. Kua koke te reo, engari, ko a tātou tikanga kei muri kē haere ana.
Ai.
Pewhi o whakaaro.
Yeah, kei kura katoa aku whakaaro. A lot of time it's for the show. It's to meet what they may deem as the esteem of the visitor. Yeah, to give them somewhat of a unique experience. But it doesn't sit right with me. And then I think there's also groups, it's a bit of bread and butter for them.
Yes.
But it's almost a rush to be there so they can be seen by the celebrity. Yeah, those are
And
my
then
things.
sometimes I see photos of not just at the airport, but these are other e te atu pōwhiri, wero, matataki. And then, kei te whātero te wahine, you know, it's like
taking a mickey.
Yeah, like our ahuri is being mocked. You know, I remember back mahara koe kaurangi te taui.
Yeah.
Because it was tāmaki tours.
Tāmaki.
And tō tātai rangatira was very, very pono ana whakaro ki te matataki. Aha koa he mahi ki te turuhi. And i ka taina tētahi o ngā matataki e nene patua te turuhi.
Ka pai.
He whakatoi no te turuhi ra. And I think it went through court and all sorts. And it was, you know, well, he was being pono to what he was taught.
This is when law versus law.
Exactly. And that's why I think that it's difficult to look after our tikanga in those contexts.
Yes,
You know, and to be authentic to them.
Yeah.
You know?
E kāre tātou te ki te hunga e mahi ana i nei mahi kāri te pono ki a tātou tikanga. Sometimes you're stuck in a rock and a hard place. You're often like, you're trying to uphold our tikanga, but then you're at the mercy most of the time of the organisers or whoever saying, you know, you need to be here at this time in ahatu, because we're saying, no, we have to do it right. We have to do a pōwhiri. We have to do this, te ahatu, and you must follow our tikanga. But it's kei te tuki, and I just, so it's the question of, do we do it or do we not do it? And sometimes I think, no, we don't do it.
Pai,
Taitoko.
And it's not about us being demanding. It's not, well, no, yes, actually, e tahi wā me ahua pērā, but to enable us to be pono ki a tātou anō, and so that you can walk away from that pōwhiri and go, no, I would do that on my marae. Or I guess that's where you can, you know, what's the thing that keeps you accountable to?
I'm of that same idea too, Hine, about it's better to not if you're not going to do it properly.
Or if you're not given the conditions to be able to do it properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maintaining the mana of that mahi.
And I think also that, you know, the flip side and the positive to that is, you know, often we see our culture on a world stage and these celebrities, they try really hard. And I've heard a lot of them, like I remember, might have been Lauren Hill, I'm not too sure, but they really wanted to embrace the tikanga, and often I think our celebrities are the ones who are wanting to do it properly. It's just their kāhui who are having to organise them that are, and then that's where the layers behind what is happening aren't necessarily known or exposed. That was a good pātai.
Pai tērā.
I think this tētai wai haere mātou e ko māua ko te kāhautu, we went with te wakahuia to Shanghai. And he said to me, I'll do the karakia before we leave. You do the one when we get to the airport in Shanghai. I was like, ka pai. So he did a karakia ringa tū. Duru's pono. You know, ki tāna whakapono. And, you know, he started off and koe te mohi ona ki nā whakahaere ringa tū. And he was going and going. Everyone's looking at their watches. Anyway, we made the plane. And then when we got off, when we got to Shanghai finally, he goes, okay, a koe. And then he goes, taki no karakia. And I just went to that spot. And I did.
Wow.
I was like, wait, this is when we're getting off the plane. And he was like, oh, hell. So as we're getting off the plane, I'm doing this
I love that.
hard out karakia. But I had heard too that I pātai āhuatanga, tai reira. So I was putting up the protection for us.
Kia ora.
So, you know,
Yeah.
everybody's looking at the airport like, whoa, what's going on here? As we're getting off the...
Something comes to me, and I'm just thinking back to some of the experiences that we've had, like when we go overseas as well, and we're often having to go as representation of te iwi Māori ahatu. And, you know, we go there and then it's, okay, what's our bracket, or what are we going to do? Okay, we'll do a pōwhiri, and then we'll do a pōwhiri. And then I stand there and I'm like, e tika ana, kia
pōwhiri
kia karanga, kia wero rānei mātou, runga i te whenua o tangata ki atu.
Yes.
And so, you know, ka panoni a ka Wānanga here. Well, only now, as of growing up, and then we start unpacking this a bit further and trying to be more pono, is that just mihi ki te tangata whenua and actually working with them first.
Koena hoki.
I remember going us to the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, and we had our other whanaunga from Mahitareiri and other things like that, and it was good to actually even talk with them about what they're doing, because it's, you don't go to someone else's whenua and pōwhiri them on and whakatau mai rā ki tō, whatever, tō whenua.
Kua pērā te panekiretanga i tehi haerenga, e nai i muri i whakapuaki au i oku whakaro kia pāpā, kia tīmoti, kāre au I pai. So I whakaeke mātou me te ngiri. And I tumeke nā iwi take o te wāhi reira rā mātou. And later they said, you know, we had a wā pakawhanaunga whakawhitiwhiti kōrero, and they asked, why did you come on like that? You know, you're coming on for war. We were ready, we were like, right, okay, these guys want to fight. You know, and I said, Timothy, I said, I don't think we should do that here, you know. I whakaeke Māori. I was going, yeah, but how would we feel if they came on doing what they do here?
Yeah.
To one of our marae. We would see it as a takahi tikanga, you know, if they came on with their drums and, you know, so it's just me tūpato tātou.
Ai.
Me tūpato tātou. Pai te rā wānanga.
Pai te rā wānanga.
There you go, that was one, I think there was 4 or 5 pātai kāne te rā.
I hope it stirs up more pātai for you there listening. No reira tukuna mai o koutou pātai, o koutou pākiki.
Kia ora. Anei tētahi waiata whakamauri tau i a tātou nā whiri mako black, tēnā whakarongo mai e kui mareta.
There's a mist that appears from the west. There he where the mountain below met the
And that was from her Tana Kōpai Waiata, Shrouded in the Mist, 1999. Tēnā koe whiri mako.
Ai,
O tira tēnā tātou e tai mā, e kare mā. Ia tātou kōrero i te rānei. And thank you all, ngai taringa, i tā koutou tautoko mai i te punua pāho o Taringa. Anei mātou e mihi ake nei, kia koutou katoa, nohora mai i raro i ngā tauwhirotanga a te mea ngaro. Tēnā koutou, hei ko nā mai rā.
Hei kona, hei kona.
Ai rā.
Bit whakaronga, bit kari, gather up close, everybody, buddy. Taringa. Yeah, tahuri mai ki yo, whakarongo ki te tangi a te kori mako. Korero flowing out the hook of force, kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te, kaupapa tino whakahira, whakarongo pi kari mai, hare mai, o Taringa, hare mai, we gotta gather up close, everybody. Gather up close, everybody. Kani, move that body. Kani, move that body.
Taringa, he mea tuku nā te Wānanga o Aotearoa, ā, nā te māngai pāho me irirangi te motu i tautoko. To listen to more episodes, search for us on your podcast app and subscribe, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Taringa, whakarongo mai.